Yojimbo by Akira Kurosawa. Oh, Seven Samurai. Come on. That is
Seven Samurai. Seven Samurai.
Stone cold classic. There are a lot.
Firstly, thank you for taking the time to chat with us. Like, really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I just wanted to get started with asking about how Jin's story comes to a close in Ghost of Tsushima, but there are obviously a lot of people that really resonated with Jin, and I guess we're kind of a little bit disappointed maybe to see him not returning, whether that's for a prequel or a sequel or something else. So I want to know what was it that made you decide to go with a new protagonist, Natsu, and even a whole new time period as well?
At Sucker Punch, we really love Jin Sakai and his story of transforming himself from a samurai who has to give up his sense of honor in order to become the ghost. It was the story we really wanted to tell, and we felt like we had shown that transformation. And so we thought, well, what's next? At Sucker Punch, we love origin stories. And so the thought of jumping forward in time to 1603 to this really interesting point in history in Ezo, modern day Hokkaido, really appealed to us, as well as getting to know a new hero. Atsu is very much her own character that players will get to know and get to see her change as she becomes infamous around Ezo as this Onryo, this vengeance ghost. The experience of watching her grow and become kind of a weapon master, the player gets to become a weapon master too, as well as transforming from a lonely lone wolf to having this wolf pack around her, is the story that we really wanted to give people. It's a new thing. It's something that you don't know the details of because it's fresh. And this is what we love when we play video games. And so we wanted to give that to players.
Awesome. And you touched on it a little bit there about her being the Onryo. Jin's story was very much kind of, he was a spirit of the people, spirit of rebellion. Atsu's story is more one of revenge. It's much more sort of singularly guided. I'd love to hear a bit more about like the contrast between the two.
Oh yeah, Atsu is thought of by the people of Ezo as this vengeance spirit, kind of a folk tale of Onryo, which was pretty common at the time. That legend of her only grows as she hunts down the Yotei Six, who have legions of soldiers at their bidding. And she survives against all odds, and she becomes, her story spreads like wildfire. Now, it's different than Ghost of Tsushima. This is a tale where we start understanding how people view her as this scary entity, and it's this transformation into something else that really is the emotional heart of the story. It's a different ghost story, but it has that same kind of backbone of you being a walking legend.
And you touched on it again briefly earlier about the combat. So stances are gone. It's all about the weapon wheel now. It's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors almost, of how everything interacts with each other and you use different weapons in different scenarios. What was the reasoning behind going for that whole new style, and how did it come, like how did you develop it into that specific format?
With Ghost of Tsushima, we were very proud of the stance system and how the combat at large made you feel like a samurai in a classic samurai film. There was a sense of lethal precision. Players played the game and they got good at it, right? You got a skill for how to parry elegantly and take down enemies. We wanted to keep all of that. We wanted to keep those skills that you hard won through play and that feeling, but we wanted to add on top of it a fresh experience. So what we've done is we've added a layer of improvisational gameplay on top of it. Now, the weapons are a replacement for the stance system, but there are so much more. On top of us adding instead of 4 stances, there are now 5 weapons you can use, so it's broader. each of those weapons, while good against a particular kind of enemy, also has unique skills for the player to master that were just brand new to Ghost of Yotei. For instance, if you get the Kasuragama, you can swing that heavy weight above your head and do an area effect attack that can hit many enemies at one time if the situation's right. Or with the spear, you can use it and its length to knock enemies backwards in space. So if you're near a cliff, you're going to want to switch to the spear so you can knock guys to their death off these high platforms. It's about improvisation. You add on top of that the ability to disarm enemies, pick up their weapons or other weapons you find on the ground and throw them at enemies, getting disarmed yourself. So you have that moment of panic. You know, what if you're on a high bridge and you lose your weapon? It's all of this texture that creates a sense of improvisation in the moment that makes the combat in Ghost of Yotei a very different animal than what we saw in Ghost of Tsushima, while maintaining the lethal precision feel that we really adored from that previous title.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I initially thought watching the deep dive you did was it feels much more tactical in a way. Like there's an element of strategy to everything where it's kind of, like you're rewarded a lot more for planning out your encounters and thinking about how you approach everything. And is that something you were especially looking for, or was it more you just wanted people to get into a fight and react that way?
Well,
the
game
unfold?
We think the heart of the fantasy is holding a katana in your hand. That's when you think about going to feudal Japan, particularly in an interactive thing like video games, that's where we want to start. But you can still sneak around and take out enemies through assassination and through being clever, as well as using ranged weapons to kind of thin people out through positioning and kind of making sure that you can kill a guy at a distance and then get away so that people don't see you. The mix of ranged weapons, stealth assassinations, and straight up melee is where the game is really exciting, because the player has this choice, always this choice, how they want to approach encounters and how they want to move between these different modes. You're not stuck in melee once a fight breaks out. You can disengage, hide out for a second, and then re-engage. If you use your rifle, it's very, very good at killing people, but man, is it loud. So you might exchange that killing power for an onrush of enemies. We empower the player with a lot of options to play that they want to play inside of this dance between stealth, ranged combat, and melee.
And on that note of encouraging playing how you want to play, the exploration in the game, obviously exploration was a huge deal in Ghost of Tsushima. It feels almost a bigger deal in this game, the way it sort of, the world unfolds in a way that is almost, what was the word I was going to say? Like, it doesn't unfold in a way that makes sense, really. Like, it's kind of aimless, the way the cards sort of, you have cards that you choose and they point you in a specific direction, but really the world kind of is revealed to you based on how you play. There's no real aim from the start of the game other than defeat the Yotei 6. So what was the thinking behind that approach to exploration?
Nate and I, and the studio at large, I really feel this deep desire to push further and expand upon our exploration gameplay inside of Ghost. Obviously, it was great in Tsushima. We really enjoyed it. We really wanted to push hard on it for this game, especially when you match that with the landscape that we're going to, which is this Hokkaido or Ezo at the time period, this vast, beautiful, epic landscape. It really matches well with, pushing on both art and game design of exploration and freedom. And we did this in a whole bunch of ways, right? Like, we've got simple things like Spyglass, which we show. It's a new feature that we have to encourage exploration. We really want you to look around and find something interesting and go. It doesn't matter if you're actually following the wind over to a Golden Path mission. That's awesome. If you want to do it, it's great. But if you see a cool pagoda or an interesting kind of strange looking tree over there, pull out your Spyglass, look around. We really want to encourage us. We made it a super easy, very easy tool to use. Or if it's like a navigation tool, like in the demo we showed riding through flower streams. So getting across vast landscapes, you can follow flower streams. You get a little speed boost, and it usually leads you to something. We developed other features like shamisen. There's these songs you can learn on the shamisen, which might guide you to certain secrets in the game. Exploration is at the heart of a Ghost game, and we've definitely pushed harder on it for Yotei. It certainly matches well also in other ways, like the journal. We talk about the journal a bit. The journal in Tsushima is great, but we opted to try to go away from a big laundry list of sort of detailed notes of everything that you've heard about, started doing, and completed. Like it's just this massive page that you have to read. Instead, we've kind of opted for a way to navigate around the world. You get clues about content, missions, tales, weapons, secrets, whatever it might be. And you can choose if you want to engage that, if it sounds interesting to you, using sort of the map and last known location. Sometimes you pick up a bounty, it'll tell you a last known location. All of these are ways in which we've really pushed hard on exploration in general. This is something that we've felt strongly about, and can't wait for people to check it out.
And the game looks incredible. And something that I got from watching just all of the gameplay was that part of playing the game isn't even really playing the game, is just sort of getting on your horse and going off and doing almost nothing really, just sort of exploring and seeing what happens. And even if there's nothing there, you've experienced the game. Is that something you were aiming to do?
Yeah, we devote a lot of time for players that play that way. I certainly like to play games like that. I know I do. I know Nate does. A number of our team members do. And honestly, we watch people play Tsushima that play that way, where they just sort of like going off into sort of the edge of the map and trying to find something. And maybe they'll find a cool mini game, or maybe they find a cool mission. Who knows? But the exploration is the beautiful part there. Like that they found a unique biome or a unique sort of art set or an interesting side story. That is all carried forward in this game. We just expanded on it quite a bit more, and really tried to create a landscape that is begging for you to explore. A game design system that under the hood is not telling you only to go do one thing, and enough tools to sort of make that exploration even more enjoyable than what we've created with our last game.
And watching the deep dive, I think there was one specific phrase that really stood out to me, which was "the game comes to you." And the idea that even if you're exploring, you're going to the edges of the map, when you camp, there are still people you've met you'll get to interact with and progress the game. Why was it important to have that kind of progression no matter where you go?
Well, we've been making open world games for a while now, and we also play a lot of open world games. And one of the challenges with creating a game that is very open and have a lot of freedom, and you sort of have to kind of have the curiosity to find things, is you can easily lose that approachability, or you can get lost in sort of the giant memory of where everything is. And so creating campsites, which we talked about a bit in the State of Play, is one of our many ways we're trying to address that. We create a feature that's tonally celebrating Ezo, this massive landscape where you just get to sleep under the stars of this beautiful place. It's also kind of a dangerous place. And so we have people that might show up. That's kind of one interesting thing. That maybe you've never met before. We also have sometimes people might show up, that people that you have met before that have an upgrade available for you that you couldn't remember, or you don't want to leave where you currently are, which is like a really common thing. Like you get to this cool location and suddenly have to fast travel to some place million miles away just to upgrade it, and you fast travel back. You can bring them right there. And in that friend that we call it the wolf pack menu, which we also showed in State of Play, you can kind of drill down into some of those people and see if they have anything, and you can actually even bring them to your campsite. All of it is just to try to get you to stay exploring and enjoying where you currently are, instead of having to bop all over the map to get your upgrades. And some people like that too. And if you want to do that, guess what? You can do that too.
And another thing I found really interesting is that, so obviously Ghost of Tsushima had Kurosawa mode, who is the definitive samurai director. This time around, we have Kurosawa mode, but we also have Takashi Miike and Shinichiro Watanabe homages as well. What is it about those two that is so special that made you want to put those modes into the game?
Well, I can say that for Ghost of Tsushima, which this game, Nate and I directed that game, and Nate and I are here on this game. Like, it's a lot of the same. We have high retention of our staff, like a lot of the same people working on the same game. I'll tell you that in Ghost of Tsushima, 13 Assassins, for the early combat, sort of kind of looking at it for reference and inspiration, and sort of the way people move and the animations and cool things that people do. That movie is like a decade now of us using it. There's like so many great references and character moments and combat moments inside of that. So that one to us speaks very deeply in that particular vein. And then Watanabe, Shinichiro Watanabe, a lot of it is just celebrating directors that, even though that's not classic samurai cinema, Samurai Champloo is an amazing anime. It's very exciting, and there's a sort of evolutionary sort of point where that type of music was used in that context, and that's exciting. That's just celebrating the genre as a whole. It's a width of genre. We could celebrate so many things, but that's part of us just looking towards our fans and have overlap with the things that we love, and trying to develop relationships in ways that we can have people play our game and enjoy the same type of directors and content that we've been inspired by for like a decade.
So following on from that, I wanted to know if you had to recommend to someone who hasn't watched any samurai films a sort of who's who of the best samurai films to watch before playing Tsushima and Yotei, what would you recommend to them?
Yojimbo by Akira Kurosawa.
I would definitely say that Yojimbo is definitely a center fantasy answer, but 13 Assassins, as we mentioned. Also, I think we quite like Lady Snowblood and Zatoichi are also two really great films.
Seven Samurai, come on. That is
Seven Samurai.
Stone cold classic. There are a lot. Alex, are you a samurai cinema guy?
I am a samurai cinema guy.
Oh,
I'm agreeing with a lot. I'm agreeing with all of these picks.
Yeah, I mean it is the genre.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's all I've got at the minute. I think I need to leave and go and watch some films. But thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us. It's been incredible. Really looking forward to the game.
Hey,
Thanks
Alex,
for taking the
so
time
much
to talk
for your
to us.
questions.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.